defense has played great all year. Now he's looking for Flacco to have one. On the toss, they'll receive to start the game.
And these fans here, Don, they've not seen a home game. It's been 6 games since the Baltimore Ravens have played at home, counting the playoffs last year, 2 games. So pretty electric atmosphere here today.
It is. They've been waiting for the Ravens to come home. Jason Connolly is back deep as Austin kicks off. Spinner goes down to the 2. The burst. And Connolly takes it out across the 25-yard line. And now the Ravens come out on offense, and there is quarterback Joe Flacco.
And Joe Flacco had a rough day last week. The 4 picks, we talked about it in the open, but this guy, I think, has the right makeup. He's got the ability to have that short-term memory and bounce back from a bad game. He's done it before. I think a lot of people, including John Harbaugh, would be very surprised if it didn't happen today.
First and 10 for the 1-1 Ravens. Ray Rice working hard to get a couple. We check the Baltimore Ravens offense. Marshall Yanda has moved to right tackle. He's been a very good player for them. And as we look at the backfield, a guy to watch all day long, Ray Rice, who had over 2,000 combined yards last season. He got 16 carries last week in the loss at Cincinnati. Flacco throwing off his back foot. He's almost picked, and it's caught. Browns looked like they almost had a touchdown there, and instead, the Ravens got a completion, Steve.
Wow, very, very fortunate for Baltimore. That was Matt Roth, who absolutely destroyed Joe Flacco in the backfield. And then right there, boy, that was T.J. Ward that had a chance at a pick 6 right there, and it ends up being a positive play for Baltimore. Derek Mason coming up with a reception.
That brings up 3rd down and 8. Looks like Yanda might have moved at right tackle.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, Don, that penalty obviously unfortunate for Baltimore, but I'll tell you what's concerning John Harbaugh right now is the fact that under pressure, Joe Flacco already puts one up for grabs, throwing off his back foot. Rob Ryan on defense for Cleveland's got to be excited. He wants to pressure Flacco all day. A hit on the first pass attempt is a good way to send a message.
He sent a message. The Ravens were the most penalized team in the NFL last season. 3rd and long. Flacco stands in, out pattern, Browns all over it. And way short of a 1st down, so the Ravens will have to punt on their first possession.
And we see back there Joshua Cribbs playing on a sore ankle. He got off the bus today, Don, wearing a walking boot, and they had to take him out on the field before the game to see if he could run and cut and play. I'll tell you what, if he's not on the field for this Cleveland Browns team, they have almost no chance to make plays.
Here's the punt, hit downfield. Sam Cook delivers it. Directional punt to the far side, goes out of bounds.
And that's a pretty common theme against Joshua Cribbs back there. A lot of teams don't want to kick the ball to him.
Again this week, Seneca Wallace leads the Browns offense. In for the injured Jake Delhomme.
And Seneca Wallace, be the first to tell you, he had a couple of bad plays, specifically the interception in that game that Kansas City took back for a touchdown. You can't have that happen when you're struggling to win a ball game, but Seneca Wallace, an extra week to prepare this week. I think he expects more out of himself and feels more comfortable out there.
Well, as you know, Steve, he's a very mobile guy. The Raven defense has to be aware of that, and they are. He can pull it down and run with the ball. Delhomme, no threat to run. They give him time. Beautifully connected play as they get the ball downfield. And Ben Watson makes a diving catch, his 12th catch of the year. Had a big game last week, a 20-yard gain on 1st down for the Browns.
And look who's covering Ben Watson down the middle of the field. It was Ray Lewis. It was a nice little dip to the inside. Ben Watson gave the impression he was running a crossing route. Ray Lewis very aggressive. Everybody knows that on those crossing routes. Ben Watson then took it up behind him, and a perfect throw from Seneca Wallace.
First and 10 now for the Browns after a 20-yard play. Watson, a former #1 draft choice of the Patriots. Swing pass, well thrown and nicely caught. Coming out of the backfield is Peyton Hillis. As we take a look now at the Cleveland Browns offensive lineup. Big assignment for Alex Mack, the Pro Bowl nose tackle for the Ravens, will be across from him much of the day. Lodi Nada. Joshua Cribbs. He'll get the ball every way he can get it to him. Nada says we don't know what he's going to do, and when he does it, he's hard to tackle. Joshua Cribbs. Browns come out firing out. Carried by Hillis, gets to midfield. But now we'll take a look at the Baltimore Ravens defense. Lodi Nada played in his first Pro Bowl last February, 345 pounds. Ray Lewis in his 15th year. He is the cornerstone of this entire team. And in the secondary, Tom Zibikowski performing well in the absence of one of the great safeties. Ed Reed will be back in a few weeks. Out right now with a hip injury.
Hard to believe that this defense will be better in a couple of weeks as you see Ray Lewis trying to get this crowd into it on the first third down play of the day.
Boom. Peyton Hillis goes at him hard, a 240-pound back from Arkansas. Former Denver Broncos, so the Browns getting some offense here, Steve, in this opening drive.
Well, they're going off the left side. You got Joe Thomas, the three-time Pro Bowler left tackle there, and then Eric Steinbach. They took it straight at the heart of this Baltimore defense, which Eric Mangini said that's the only way you can run at these guys, right at them.
That's what they did. Hillis, just a fullback power dive. No score. The Browns cross midfield. Back to Hillis, who had some fumble problems early in the year at Tampa Bay. Ray Lewis makes the stop. We talked to Ray Lewis at length on Friday. We asked him how long he's going to play. He said, I love this game more now than I ever have.
And it seems as though everybody feels like he's having more fun now in his 15th year than he ever has before. So he's got no timetable on. He's still playing at a pretty high level.
With number 16 now coming out to the near side. There's a wideout. Watch Josh Cribbs. That's where it's going. Josh Cribbs. First down Browns as they advance the ball close to the 35-yard line of the Ravens. Chris Carr defending on the play.
Well, you could be an offensive coordinator, Don, calling plays like that. Great shot. One-on-one coverage on the outside. And we're seeing, I talked to Seneca Wallace yesterday, and he asked him if they want to come out throwing more on first down than normal. He didn't kind of tip his hand, but I feel like we might see more of that today.
We're sure seeing it in this opening drive. He's looked sharp. This is Peyton Hillis. He's an old-time fullback, isn't he? 2 arms on the ball and looking to hit somebody, not to get hit.
He is a load. He sticks it up in there, and there's no dancing around with Peyton Hillis. And another thing that's important to mention, put the ball on the ground a couple of times in the first game against Tampa Bay. He seems extremely concerned about making sure those 2 big arms are wrapped around that football right now.
Now the Browns on their first possession of this scoreless game come to a 2nd and 7. Hillis knocking people back, and he drives ahead for a big gain down to the 21-yard line. Got almost 12. DeJuan Landry makes the stop. Landry had a big game against the Browns last November, ran back an interception, 48 yards for a Raven touchdown.
Great job by the right side of that Cleveland offensive line, and they're making a statement on this drive, going right at this Baltimore Ravens defense. DeJuan Landry, he took a big pop from Peyton Hillis at the end of that run. Peyton Hillis won that encounter big time.
Peyton Hillis, he comes at you hard. Wallace out pattern for Josh Cribbs, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 at the 21-yard line of the Ravens. So the Browns, Eric Mangini's team, well in position now to possibly kick a field goal should they stall, but they still got a couple more downs to try to keep it going.
He's got to feel real good about where they're at right now, the way they've come out and gone right at this Baltimore defense. By the way, this Baltimore defense does not give up rushing yards easily. Only 5 running backs have rushed for over 100 yards in their last 70 games.
70 games. Boy, that's impressive. They are impressive defensively, and now Seneca Wallace checks down to Hillis, and the Ravens are all over it. No place to go downfield. Good D by the Ravens. Jameel McClain, inside backer, was the tackler.
You know, one of the things that brings people out to watch Seneca Wallace and his abilities are his feet, his excitement, the things that he can do outside and extending plays. I thought right there was a good opportunity. There was no pressure on him. None of his receivers were open up the field, but he had plenty of room to get outside and kind of create lanes to throw that ball up the field. That's one of his strengths. He's got to kind of emphasize those things.
Let's see, Steve, what they go to now. Third down. They need 8. Blitzers align. But they come with 4.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Scott Green, our referee, so that sets the Browns back to the Ravens' 24-yard line.
And Don, not only is this Baltimore Ravens the #1 defense in the NFL on third down, giving up only 13.8% conversion, John Harbaugh says they are sticklers on red zone defense. They are the very best in the NFL there as well. They work on it every day.
A big emphasis on keeping people out of the end zone from the red zone. Now here is Wallace. Swings it down. And terrific open field tackling. Dannell Ellerbe, 59, there to cover the fullback, who was the check down receiver. So the field goal team now comes out for the Browns. Phil Dawson to try it.
And the thing to point out about this, when you're playing this Baltimore defense, you're only going to get a few shots realistically during the course of the game to make some plays, and they're going to be where they're supposed to be. They made a few plays. Cleveland made a few plays on that drive, got them in scoring position. They should feel good coming off the field after their first drive.
Dawson missing a key field goal against the Chiefs last week. That might have been the game winner. It was earlier in the game, but those 3 points cost him a lot in a 2-point loss. And now he hits one, a 38-yarder, a veteran who has a history of hitting him. And the underdog Browns on the road take the lead. Back at Baltimore, the Browns go down the field, methodically moving the ball, stall, and kick a field goal. Dawson, who hit it, now ready to kick off as the Ravens will get their second possession. Well-played drive. There is Jalen Parmalee back. Played collegiately at Toledo. A high spinning kick. From a yard deep. Parmalee brings it out. A win for the Browns. Kick coverage as they make the knockdown at the 15. And Joe Flacco comes out again now. John Harbaugh says we want to get him jump-started early today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Allstate. Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate. And by Budweiser. Grab some buds and be part of the Budweiser National Happy Hour on September 29th.
We're back to M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. Browns with an opening drive field goal. Now the Ravens getting a second crack at it. Starting from their 15. Rice. Out to about the 14-yard line. Looking at the Browns on defense. Ataba Rubin in for the injured Sean Rogers at nose tackle. Rubin, a very productive player, though. Linebacker Matt Roth, his coach likens him to a hockey enforcer. When he's around, somebody's going to get hit, says Eric Mangini. And T.J. Ward has been just a standout as a rookie. And T.J. Ward almost had a pick six today. Dropped a possible interception. Ray Rice is on the run. 22 yards.
Well, Don, I want you to look at the vision of this guy. His play is designed to go to the right side. You see over there, he sees it. He sees the green grass back on the left side. He's small enough, quick enough, and has the burst to outrun everybody to the back side of that play. Not many guys in the world can do that, but Ray Rice, when you get the ball in his hands, good things usually happen.
Boy, they happen there. There is Flacco airing a long ball out. Receiver is there. Is there a foul on the play? As they went for Anquan Bolden. In his 8th year, a 3-time Pro Bowler, number 81 with the Arizona Cardinals. First year as a Raven. Boy, he had a burst there.
He did. He ran right through the coverage. He was open. It was the right shot for Flacco, but I agree with the fans here. I really think this should have been a pass interference. Look at the left hand of Eric Wright right there. Definitely. He pushes him a little bit before the ball gets there. And if you don't think that affects the guy running full speed down the field looking back for a football, you're crazy. That should have been pass interference.
We could see it against him, as John Harbaugh told us Friday. We think Wright's a little undisciplined. As he put it, we might get him. Check down to Le'Ron McClain, the fullback. Rubin makes the step, and it is a 7-yard gain for the Ravens.
And I like the decision, and we were given very clear commentary from John Harbaugh as well as Joe Flacco on Friday that they felt of this Baltimore or this Cleveland Browns secondary, Eric Wright, even though they respect him as a player, they feel like he gives you some opportunities up the field. Bolden had a shot there.
You might see that shot again. Here's a 3rd down play, 3rd and 3. Nice throw and catch. Bolden's the man on a short pattern. Mike Adams tackles him, but it's a 7-yard gain and a 1st down for Baltimore.
And you look at Rob Ryan right there. We talked to him yesterday. He feels really good about where this defense is and where they are as far as their comfort factor with the Baltimore Ravens offense. He comes in, puts it on the table. He just said basically, he said, hey, I feel good about where I think we're going to kick there. You know what? We're going to get after these guys from start to finish.
As mentioned earlier, the Ravens, in beating the Browns twice last year, outscored the Browns 50-3. Flacco very mobile, no place to go. He does the wise thing, throws it away, not wanting to risk a pick. He's accounted, Joe Flacco, for 6 of the Ravens' 7 turnovers this year.
And another thing that Rob Ryan told us, you saw right there, Ray Rice running into the enforcer you were talking about, Matt Roth. Rob Ryan said one thing we have got to do when playing this Baltimore offense is not give Ray Rice any room underneath in the passing game. 78 catches last year. He kills you underneath the check-downs.
And he rushed for over 1,300 yards. This is the 78 catches. Flacco, a comeback group. Boy, that's pro football at its best. Timing pattern, Derek Mason, who has a history of big games against the Browns.
Well, I'm surprised Derek Mason got one-on-one coverage there. 2nd and 10, usually a too-deep coverage look where you have a hard time going outside of the wide receivers, but Joe Flacco saw the coverage one-on-one. That was Sheldon Brown giving a lot of room to Derek Mason underneath, and a good, solid throw and catch for a 16-yard gain.
Flacco gets time. Receivers open. Todd Heap, the Ravens' all-time leading receiver. That's his 438 catches a Raven. That's good for 18 yards. And now the Ravens' offense really up to speed.
Todd Heap, been a great tight end here for a lot of years in his 10th year. Look at Joe Flacco. This is what John Harbaugh was talking about. Look at his feet. His feet are set, and he's throwing the ball on rhythm. His balance was good. I'm talking about all the things that John Harbaugh said he's got to play with more urgency about. He's talking about footwork, making quick decisions, and getting that ball out of there.
He talks even about exploding away from the center. Really getting his drop quickly. And here's a straight ahead give to Ray Rice. They were kidding him Friday about not being very big, and Ray said, I'm a very big man in my own little world.
And I'll tell you what, as we look at Rob Ryan again, I wouldn't want to even attempt to tackle Ray Rice. Not only is he quick and difficult to get a hand on, but he is a powerful man. He is a thick, stocky kid that he can hurt you too when he lowers that shoulder.
3rd year out of Rutgers. He's been outstanding from day one. End zone throw. What a play. What a catch. Anquan Bolden. And the Ravens take the lead.
Just what the doctor ordered if you're Joe Flacco, John Harbaugh. This offense struggling the first 2 weeks of the season. But look at that again. On rhythm. Joe Flacco, great pocket by the offensive line. And then just a little puts you to sleep route there by Anquan Bolden, just jogging up the field. And Eric Wright, not nearly as big, couldn't go up and get that football. Perfect throw by Joe Flacco.
Tremendous work on the whole drive. Now the extra point is hit up and good by Billy Cundiff, and it's a 10-play, 85-yard drive. Bolden with his first touchdown as a Raven. Baltimore kicks off when we come back. Back in Baltimore, down quickly with Steve Berline. The Ravens coming off a 10-play, 85-yard touchdown drive. What about the education of Joe Flacco, Steve?
Well, one of the things that I think John Harbaugh wants to emphasize is understanding when a receiver's open in the NFL. There's a big difference. In high school, if you're the receiver, I'm the defender, you're open. In college, that gap's a little bit different. In the pros, if you've got body position on me like you do right now, you're open. That ball's got to be on that receiver, on that open shoulder. That's what Joe Flacco has to learn. He's got to pull the trigger a lot of times. That's where John Harbaugh says he's been struggling a little bit.
It was a terrific drive, and Flacco looked terrific. 5 of 7 on that drive for 53 yards in the touchdown. Joshua Cribbs is upended to the 22. So now Seneca Wallace will try to get it going and see if the Browns can't get back in the lead. We're back to Baltimore, where the sun has now broken through. The Cleveland Browns took an early 3-0 lead, and the Ravens just came back with a 10-play drive. Terrific throwing by Flacco, including the touchdown pitch to Anquan Bolden. Hillis, he's a hammer. Peyton Hillis, the big 240-pound back, and looks like he's going to be in the game plan all day.
I think he is. Looks like he's going to be featured big time today. Get the ball in the passing game and the running game. And one thing we've established very quickly is that he hits the hole. He brings the load. You got to wrap up and bring this man down. He's got to have his steam. Pretty difficult, but you got to feel good about the way they're getting little lanes against this Baltimore defense. Doesn't happen very often.
No, they're making their lane. He's a hard hitter. 6 carries, 28 yards. For Hillis, and there's a carry by Joshua Cribbs.
Wow, I'll tell you what, there were a lot of purple jerseys that were eager to get to Joshua Cribbs on that play. They lined him up at tailback, and you're going to see right here, watch the way Ray Lewis told us yesterday. He said, we are going to know where Joshua Cribbs is. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys getting into that pile. They want to make a statement early to Joshua Cribbs. If you get the ball, you're going to pay the price.
Ravens defense right now is rated number 2 in the NFL. Green Bay is 1. Penalty marker flies. Going to be a offensive execution penalty before the snap against the Browns.
I think it might be actually done on the defense. Trevor Price.
False start. Wide receiver number 16. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You were right, Don. Joshua Cribbs must have had a flinch. I thought I saw Trevor Price jumping the snap count over the center.
That'll make it 3rd down and 9 for the Browns. Ravens defense, number 1 rush defense, number 2 pass defense this season. Fast-paced first quarter. And a 7-3 lead for the Baltimore Ravens back on the home field for the first time in a long time. Both the Raven, I've got a bad outfit on, says that Raven.
Bad situation now for Cleveland. You got to be very careful, backed up in your own end against the number 1 3rd down defense in the NFL. Second time a penalty's put them in 3rd and long for Cleveland.
3rd and long it is. They need 9. Here comes the heat on Wallace. Good mobility, good throw, and a good open field tackle. As Donnell Ellerbe makes another stop. This one on Ben Watson.
The forward progress, I think, got it for him.
They're going to give it, yeah. He knocked him back, but they rule that he got there, so it's a 1st down for the Browns.
Well, good job. You see Seneca Wallace moving out of the pocket like we discussed, finding his big receiver out there, and Donnell Ellerbe did a great job breaking on that football. A favorable spot for the away team. I think that's a good challenge by John Harbaugh. He's going to challenge the spot.
So this play will go to review. Looks from up here like they got the stop. We're going to find out. Where was his forward progress? We're back to Baltimore. They've had a review.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's a first down. Baltimore is charged with a timeout.
Good news for Eric Mangini. Ravens challenge. They lose a timeout, so it's ruled he did indeed get enough yardage for the first down.
Well, you're going to see, Don, that you can't really, you don't have a great angle with this right here. The ball, it looks like his feet are at the 32-yard line, but you can't really see where that ball is, and I think that was one of the problems. There was no clear angle to show definitively that the stop was made before the first down. The referees can't overturn it.
So the review goes the Browns' way, and now Wallace with a deep drop. Look at that move to get away from two big pass rushers, and a terrific play downfield to Joshua Cribbs, that stop route and comeback.
And that is where Cynical Wallace is at his best. Watch here. He doesn't like what he sees. He's comfortable in the pocket, but look at that. Scooting up there, able to keep his shoulder and get enough juice on that ball to deliver a 20-yard strike to Joshua Cribbs. Good job by Cribbs coming back for that football, making the play. Another first down.
And a good job, Steve, by Wallace. 7 of 8 for 69 yards throwing the ball. Henry Marcus fired in.
That's not a good spot for the Cleveland Browns.
Comes from the umpire, newly positioned.
Holding, offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. First.
So that was Tony Pashos on the holding call. But let's go back and look at that challenge play. Get a little better angle here. You can see maybe where he catches that ball. It looks as though he's shy to me of that 32-yard line. He had to get across it in order to get to the first down. You can see by the marker where the official marked it. I think that Cleveland definitely got a favorable ruling on that play.
Now the Browns have a long yardage play on first down, 1st and 20. This Hillis, he fires out.
There's not a lot of indecision there, is there? It's straight ahead. And we saw on that last graphic, Don, it was 8-yard average for the Cleveland Browns on first down. This is about 8 yards again here. The problem is it's 1st and 20 after the holding call, but you got to be happy with the way the Browns are able to execute against this very, very stout, very good, high-pressure Baltimore defense. They've had a few inopportune penalties. It's the only thing holding them back right now.
You see on that graphic how he's such a big part of the game plan. 10 touches already today for Hillis. He's a downhill straight line runner. Throw, catch, first down. Dan Watson makes the play. The Steelers and the Bucks going at it in Florida. For more on that, we go to James Brown.
Hey, Don and Steve, we know that Ben Roethlisberger has one more game to serve under suspension. Dennis Dixon hurt last week. So, Charlie Batch, a lot of oil in that arm. 46-yard touchdown strike to Mike Wallace. The old fellow still has it. Pittsburgh nursing a 1-point lead over Tampa Bay. That in the second. Don Criqui, Steve Berline.
Thanks, JB. I'll tell you, people in the Steeler organization, they've always liked Charlie Batch. He's a true pro.
He's been there forever. He knows that offense.
Today he's the next man up because of injuries and makes the big play. Now a downfield throw, and it's a little too much on it. Watson again the target. Watson had the longest pass play of his career last week against the Chiefs, a 44-yard catch and run.
But I'll tell you, if Cleveland continues to put themselves into those 3rd and 7+ situations, it's going to be a long day for their offense. They've done very well at this point, converting and moving the football.
And Trevor Rice is down right now, being attended to. Back to Baltimore, Trevor Price, 4-time Pro Bowler in his days as a Bronco. Now a situational pass rusher, turned his ankle, so he's being attended to. Tom Zivikowski is back, anticipating the Browns punt. High spinning punt hit end over end by Reggie Hodges. It's a distinct Browns roll inside the 10-yard line and down to the 7. A 38-yard punt, but all net yardage. Well done. We're back to Baltimore. Ravens holding a 7-3 lead. And now Joe Flacco, who in his last play on offense, threw a touchdown ball. Here is a handoff and a penalty markers down. Might have been before the snap. Willis McGahee.
Offside.
That's the carry.
Defense, number 53. 5-yard penalty. Still first.
Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. McGahee into the game. He isn't very productive so far, Steve, this year. 9 carries, 8 yards prior to that one. 0.9 a carry. He was in the end zone a lot last year, 14 times for the Ravens.
14 touchdowns last year, yes.
Spelling Ray Rice. McGahee again.
One of the things that has killed this Browns team today and in weeks past this year, and Eric Mangini mentioned it to us yesterday, penalties at the wrong time. You got a team backed up inside their own 10-yard line. They've got 90-plus yards to go. You line up offsides in the neutral zone. You give them a free 5 yards. Give them that space. They did it last week against Kansas City as well. Same exact situation. And they've had a couple of penalties on third down plays this year to put them in 3rd and long. Those are penalties that make a difference. Trust me.
Beautifully executed play. Coming off the right flank is a former quarterback, Anquan Bolden. He and Flacco have it together.
They do. Good route. You're going to see Flacco does a good job keeping his feet alive in the pocket, resetting and making sure he can throw that ball. Bolden didn't do much on that route. He had a soft corner, and Eric Wright just took one step up, came inside. That's a big body for a cornerback to bring down.
Big body, a big gain, 14 yards. Rice attacks the line of scrimmage at 5'8", 210 pounds.
And again, Don, it's confirmed on that last play. It seems as though Eric Wright has been targeted by Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens offense as the guy they want to try and get matched up on one-on-one.
Well, as John Harbaugh said Friday, he's a little inconsistent, a little undisciplined. We might get him. They tried early to hit him on a deep ball. Bolden, here is a Flacco, nice timing throw. To a guy who's been a terrific football player every moment in the NFL. 10 years going now for Todd Heap, an 11-yard gain there. Two-time a Pro Bowl player.
Good design on this play. You see you've got a couple of tight ends over there on the right side of your screen that gives the Cleveland Browns a little different look. And Todd Heap straight to the flat, but he's quick coming out of that stance. Outflanks the defense. Joe Flacco, no indecision. Able to get that ball out of there on the money. Another big play.
Flacco, Steve, has hit his last 5 passes, 9 of 11 for the day, including 1 for a touchdown. They set the screen, tip ball, but they get it. Le'Ron McClain, a 260-pound fullback from Alabama, works the sideline. A cornerback, Sheldon Brown, had to hit him. 11-yard gain on the play.
Well, not a whole lot of imagination on this play. Just a good, solid play action fake, and then Joe Flacco patient, giving a little ground. It's a screen pass out to the left. You saw Michael Orr and Ben Grubbs out there in front to make the key blocks on the outside. Good execution. Very good job by Cam Cameron and mixing up his calls. Rob Ryan said always a challenge.
Now here's the former quarterback throwing the ball. Anquan Bolden. And they live to play another down. That could have been kicked off. Got Fujita all over it when it was thrown, and ends up as a completion and a 6-yard loss. That will go into the file now. We won't see that again today.
Yeah, and you see Anquan Bolden just slips a little bit right there. Matt Roth did a great job of sniffing it out, putting pressure on Bolden, and then on the backside over there, Scott Fujita, two pretty smart football players, not biting on the gimmickry by Cam Cameron and the Baltimore Ravens.
So Bolden, the former quarterback, gets his first and maybe only throw of this day. Now he comes out wide to right. Ray Rice with that great change of direction quickness. What a year last year. Over 1,300 yards rushing. As you mentioned, Steve, the 78 receptions, over 2,000 yards. Only one player had more combined yardage. That was Chris Johnson.
Watch his patience here, Don. I mean, he gets up into that hole, and see how he just kind of, he doesn't panic, he doesn't rush, he sets up his blocks very well. A couple of stutter steps and then a cut and move, and he's got an 8 or 10 yard gain.
Browns come with 4 on 39. Downfield throw to an open receiver. Bolden. Linebacker Eric Barton back in coverage, makes the play, but he does it 27 yards downfield.
Rob Ryan, the coordinator for Cleveland, told us that you're going to see Anquan Bolden right there in your slot. They just kind of roll the coverage away, and that's one of the things where Cam Cameron had the design that gave Cleveland a little bit of a look they weren't ready for. Got them mixed up in coverage, a busted coverage. Easy throw and catch for a big play.
Flacco just terrific. Has hit 7 in a row, 11 of 13 for the day for 120 yards. Rice, he gets low, works the inside, gets inside the 20-yard line, down close to the 15, down to about the 13-yard line.
And for all the confidence Rob Ryan had in our meeting yesterday, it seems as though he's a little bit confused right now. The Cleveland Browns defense a little bit out of sorts, trying to figure out what Baltimore's trying to do. They've got a lot of weapons, and that was a concern to Rob Ryan for sure.
Ravens, after falling behind early 3-0 on Cleveland's opening drive, playing their best offensive football of this season. Here's a downfield throw. Touchdown, Anquan Bolden. Uncovered. Well, they're going after Wright. 12-yard touchdown throw. John Harbaugh said we might get him. We just got him.
Well, not surprised by the fact that Joe Flacco is responding today with a good day, but surprised at how easy it's been, how open Anquan Bolden has been. That was a blitz by the Cleveland Browns right at the middle, and look at easy. I mean, Anquan Bolden didn't do anything real fancy, just made a little jab outside, and Eric Wright was spinning. He's been kind of exposed today.
Bolden told us he loves Baltimore because everybody here loves the Ravens. They sure do today. Flacco on target. Getting it done big time. Baltimore 2 touchdown drives. One of 10 plays for 85 yards. The next of 10 plays 93 yards. Both on the payoff end to Anquan Bolden from Joe Flacco. Browns need a special teams play. Here's a guy that can give it to him. Joshua Cribbs, penalty markers fired in from way back. Could be an illegal block.
It was a smothering. That's what they're going to call it. If there was a smothering penalty, they'd be calling it right now.
Holding. Return team number 85. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. First down.
Sam Aiken,
Timeout.
the new arrival, joined the team yesterday, called for smothering a Baltimore Raven.
An indictable offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New Degree Men Adventure and by E-Trade.
With Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui back at Baltimore, where the Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco has been on fire. 12 of 14 for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is down early, 3-0. The Ravens have come back to take command of this game now, and the Browns need a play. Seneca Wallace checks down to Hillis. Leaping over the top, first down play. Tonight, 11 teams take off on the adventure of a lifetime. Don't miss the Amazing Race season premiere tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS.
Come on and take a free ride. Come on and take it by my side.
Hayden Hillis getting the ball time and again. Is a straight line runner, a power back. Now he's going to work behind the fullback on first down. Wallace. Out pattern, good timing throw to Cribbs, and that's ahead out to the 35-yard line, a gain of about 7. Chris Carr makes the stop.
Good tackle by Chris Carr on the outside. Joshua Cribbs is a much bigger person up close than you think he is. Very, very difficult to tackle. And out there one-on-one on that island, as you call it, Don, very hard to bring down.
How do you think that ankle is? It looks like he's moving well.
He's moving well. He had a nice kickoff return there a few minutes ago as well.
Hillis. Oh, he is low. Peyton Hillis, third-year back. A very, very important acquisition. The Ravens have now not allowed an opposing touchdown in almost 3 complete games. 11 quarters, almost 12 quarters.
Look at your right guard there, number 77, Floyd Womack. Watch what he does. He gets into it with Ray Lewis. Moving him out of there, moving him out of there. Good job by Floyd Womack.
This Hillis is a runaway train. He's just powering people back, knocking down defenders, getting big yards.
I'll tell you what, I mean, look at this movement in the lane that he gets for a 25-yard gain. I mean, no one's touched him yet until right there, and then DeJuan Landry again, the last line of defense. He's going to have nightmares about Peyton Hillis. And now, the one thing you don't see Peyton Hillis do, you don't see him making a move to try and go around Landry. He's trying to go right through him.
No, it's straight on. No fair dodging. He goes right at people, and handoff goes to James Davis. As I mentioned earlier, Jerome Harrison is out today. So the Browns, they really need to answer now, down 14-3 after they led 3-0 early.
Well, that's right about 70 yards rushing now for the Cleveland Browns in the first half. That does not happen very often against this Baltimore Ravens defense.
And Hillis, Steve, has 87 yards offense, 65 running, 22 receiving. On 2nd and 7, Seneca Wallace looking deep, buying some time with his legs. Fires. What a terrific play to Josh Cribbs. 17-yard gain, and the Browns get some really good-looking offense on this drive.
Well, this is a thing you got to think that Ed Reed would make a difference on a play like this. And I'm not talking bad about Tom Zbikowski, but this ball was late and a lot of time in the air. You see Zbikowski, he's right there to make that play, the play that these Ravens fans are used to seeing a guy like Ed Reed step in front of and take the other way. That's the difference between losing one of the best safeties of all time. He's coming back in a couple weeks, and Zbikowski's done a super job filling in. But Ed Reed is Ed Reed. There's only one of him.
The 2-minute warning.
And boy, that is the truth, Steve. Ed Reed is one of the greatest safeties of all time. This guy, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer someday. Back on a warm, humid Sunday afternoon in Baltimore. The Ravens have not allowed a touchdown this season. Right now, the Browns are challenging those, Steve.
They sure are. And they've looked good. They have not been able to get any pressure on Seneca Wallace. He's looked very comfortable in the pocket and made some great throws.
Really has. Getting his second start, and here is Hillis. You know what you're getting when Hillis gets the ball. Get low, you're going to try to hit him.
Hillis is making a statement. He understands that Jerome Harrison is out for this game. He knows that this running game is depending on him to get it jump-started. I mean, there is absolutely no question where he's going when he gets that football straight ahead and doing a great job of it. And give his O-line some credit, too. Those guys are moving people.
10 carries, 71 yards for Peyton Hillis. Good fake, swing pass. Hillis has it. Boom goes Hillis down to the 6-yard line. Very close to a first down.
And you saw a concerted effort right there by Jameel McClain, number 53, to try and rip that ball out of Peyton Hillis's arms. Did not happen. He's protecting that football today and really making the most out of every play. A nice job catching that football and cutting back behind the defender coming out to make the tackle.
He was part of the trade that sent quarterback Brady Quinn from Cleveland to Denver. Browns working hard on a 1st and goal from the 6. James Davis, a second-year back from Clemson, getting a look today because of the injury to Jerome Harrison that keeps Harrison out today.
Real nice cut by James Davis on that play as well. He had a guy coming clean from his left side, and he cut back right behind him.
And the Ravens call a timeout. Ray
Their
Lewis
second
told
yard
us Friday
timeout.
his mantra to his defense: they can't score. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Look at this, Steve, the kind of a day that Peyton Hillis is having.
Pretty impressive. 3rd all-time in Cleveland franchise history today. He's still 24 seconds in the first half. These last 2, though, these last 2 yards might be the toughest. Baltimore's not giving up a touchdown all year. 24 seconds in the first half. Cleveland can run it. They've still got all 3 of their timeouts.
These last 3 yards, though, are the toughest. 2nd and goal. Hillis. Talk about a guy can move the pile. He's down close to the goal line. And a timeout is taken by the Browns with 16 seconds to play in the half.
First yard timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Here comes Hillis. Boom goes Hillis.
Number 65, reporting eligible.
Eric Steinbach, as you heard the referee say, reporting eligible, number 65. This is 3rd and goal for the Cleveland Browns from the 2-yard line of the Ravens, who haven't given up a touchdown in almost 12 quarters. They just gave one up. Hillis on the payoff end. And the Browns are right back in it with 13 seconds to play in the half.
I'll tell you what, that Cleveland Browns offense, they earned that touchdown. There was no gift on that drive. They started out with a 1st and 20, finished it off with a pretty much walk-in touchdown against the best defense in football, arguably. Great job by Peyton Hillis on that left side of that offensive line. You mentioned Eric Steinbach in there, eligible receiver. He was that left tight end. They ran right behind him.
And Vickers, the fullback, also got a shoulder on a linebacker. Helped paving the way. Extra point up and good. And so the Browns are ready to kick off. Just 13 seconds left in the half.
And you should look at how easy this is. Vickers, as you said, Don, just got his shoulder in there, cleared that submarine and linebacker shooting through there, and Peyton Hillis, he knows it doesn't get any easier than that. Mangini, they have not had a lot to talk about and get excited about this year. He's got it like that. His boys came ready to play today.
It's old-time football when Hillis is out there. Woody Hayes would have loved this.
It really is, but think about what Seneca Wallace has done as well. 12 of 14 for 114 yards. You got to give credit all the way around here. The offensive line is protecting very, very well against a very good pressure pass rushing defense. They've executed very well on offense.
And Hillis now, Steve, up to 100 yards total. It's not too late to play NFL.com's all-new fantasy football game. The first and only game with video. Play with your friends or compete against other NFL fans. Sign up at NFL.com/fantasy. Peyton Hillis, 12 carries, 73 yards, 5 receptions, 27 yards, 17 touchdowns, 17 touches in 100 yards. Parmalee's back for the Ravens. From the 5. These guys. They come hunting on special teams.
Man,
A fierce strike by Titus Brown.
let's look at Peyton Hillis on that last drive. All this, mind you, on the last drive starts with the big boys up front. Give him a crease, give him an ability to get through that seam, and there he is on the outside. A quick pass from Seneca Wallace, swan dive over the top, and then finishing it off with the easy touchdown. Doesn't sound right. Easy touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens defense.
First one in almost 3 full games dating back to last season.
You know, this defense, Don, that has only given up 3 touchdowns coming into this game over the last 6 regular season games.
That's the end of the first half. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report. But first, a message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Against the Bengals, none this week.
Almost identical numbers for Seneca Wallace, 12 of 14 as well, 114 yards, not a touchdown, but playing and managing the game very, very well. Both of these quarterbacks are giving their team a very good chance to win the ball game.
The Browns will get the ball to open the third quarter as the sun has broken through here in Baltimore. It was rain earlier in the day. Joshua Cribbs elects not to bring it out. Browns will take it on a touchback at their 20. Browns have struggled offensively in the second half.
They sure have. This is not a joke. In the second half this year, they've had 12 possessions, no points, only 6 first downs combined against Tampa Bay and Kansas City. This is the team that needs to find a way to play for 60 minutes. A lot of 3 and outs in the second half of both their first 2 games. We'll see if they can do it differently today.
Hillis, a line behind Seneca Wallace, swinging out. Ball on the hands of Hillis. Out to the 22-yard line. At a advance of about 2.
Let's look at what Seneca Wallace did in the first half. To me, Donnie looks very comfortable. You see him moving around, keeping his feet alive in the pocket, making plays outside the pocket. That's what he brings. He's got that ability to extend plays and find a way to deliver the ball on target. Right there, a big one to Joshua Cribbs.
He's a very sound pro, Seneca Wallace. His career passer rating of 83+. It's very respectable. Peyton Hillis running again. In fact, his career passer rating, that of Seneca Wallace, is better than the passer rating of Derek Anderson when he went to the Pro Bowl as a quarterback for the Browns back in 07. His quarterback rating at 82.5.
There you see the quarterback, the quarterback comparison. Both of them very, very solid. Look at the rating for Joe Flacco, though, 145.5.
Joe said to us on Friday, a losing NFL locker room is not a pretty sight. He felt badly about last week, and now a swing pass, and they get the ball out to Ben Watson, who's really been targeted more and more, this big tight end from Georgia. Zibikowski makes the stop.
Good job by Seneca Wallace getting out there quick, and his offensive line has given him plenty of time today. He's had many occasions to hold the ball back there, but on those situations where you've got a quick receiver out in front of you, you've got to make a decision very quickly. That's what cost him last week against Kansas City. He was late on a 3-step drop to the flat and went the other way for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was the one he'd love to have back. And a 2-point loss to the Chiefs. Wallace is hard to corner. He Sizzle can't get him. The appellation that Terrell Suggs has given himself. He likes to be referred to as T. Sizzle. We saw him coming in today, Steve.
He can call himself whatever he wants, in my opinion. Watch this right here, Kelly Gregg. He almost makes the play on Seneca Wallace up the field, but not quite quick enough. He's an effort guy. Look at it gives it us all. The #1 interior defensive lineman tackler in the NFL since the year 2000. Does a great job pursuing the football.
That makes it 2nd and 10 for the Browns. Finding a way. He looked like he was down, but James Davis spins and gets ahead for plus yards. Got about 5.
I'll tell you what, James Davis is going to be sore tomorrow. That knee, he took a shot right on the look. He's hobbling off the field. Look at the tackle by Josh Wilson. James Davis got to do a better job protecting himself. those defensive backs a lot of times like to come in low. You just see Davis hobbling off the field. You know that as a running back. When you bounce it outside, those guys are going to come low. You got to protect yourself.
Peyton Hillis has been the man today for the Browns running the ball. He's going to have to be the rest of the way because they are really thin. Jerome Harrison out. James Davis limps off. Wallace directing traffic. And bails out before Dewan Landry can hit him. But there's a substantial loss on the play of 6 yards. And the Browns send out their punt team.
Now that's not a smart play by a veteran quarterback, Seneca Wallace, right there. I don't mind you leaving the pocket if you don't like what you see. I do think he had a good one-on-one route to Joshua Cribbs on the right side. He didn't make that decision. I'm okay with it. If you're going to run to the sideline, don't run out of bounds. Throw the ball. You're out of the pocket. Throw it away. Don't take those yards away. Put your defense in a worse spot.
Reggie Hodges punts. He booms one downfield. A long-range punt. Zibikowski backpedaling, fair catching at his 13-yard line. So Flacco, who had a terrific first half, comes out to lead the Ravens. The new hit drama, Hawaii Five-0, is TV's #1 new show. Tune in and see why critics are calling it your next TV obsession. Hawaii Five-0 tomorrow on CBS. Here come the Ravens, Steve, with Joe Flacco coming off a first half with a quarterback rating of 145, about as good as it gets. Ray Rice, boy, he can change directions.
He sure can, but you talked about Joe Flacco. What a first half he had. This is a guy that was absolutely ripped the past week by Baltimore radio stations. I did 4 interviews. All they were talking about was, can he get it done? Right there, and again, right here, another touchdown to Anquan Bolden. The two of them have been hooking up all day. Joe Flacco looks very, very comfortable, very confident. He's playing with that urgency that John Harbaugh wants.
Well, 2 years prior to this, he was in the playoffs both times, a lot more when he was making the playoffs. But he's a winning quarterback in the playoffs, 3-2 record. Ray Rice working the field, getting the first down. 11-yard gain by Rice.
Look at this beautifully set up screen pass. You're going to see Joe Flacco does a good job on the play action fake, and then they pretty much let the right side come in, and Ray Rice slips outside. Look at how low he stays to the ground. The balance and the athletic ability to keep moving forward, keep those legs driving. Good job also by the right side of the Browns off of the Ravens' right offensive line to get out in front and make the blocks.
Ray told us he'd like to get 25 touches a game. Here's a throw. Beautiful connection again to Anquan Bolden. Flacco and Bolden, really a magnificent combination today for the Ravens. And again, they victimize Eric Wright. They told us they were going to target him, and they're getting him a 34-yard gain.
Hey, Don, there are a lot of great throws quarterbacks make every week in the NFL. You're not going to see a better touch pass than that throw right there by Joe Flacco. He's big. He's got the big arm. Everybody talks about how he can get it up the field, but what great touch on both that throw right there and the first touchdown pass to Anquan Bolden, where he went up and over Eric Wright for a touchdown.
That advances the ball to the 36-yard line of the Browns. Blitzer. Couldn't get to the line of scrimmage. Maybe the receiver was near it. Eric Wright.
I think it was the throw or the hit that knocked the ball down into the ground, Don. Eric Wright came on a corner blitz. No reason why Joe Flacco didn't see this. He's got to see it before. There's Eric Wright coming in. Flacco had no idea until the very last minute. And it's tough. A lot of time when you turn your back out of there, you make the play action fake, it's hard to see what's going on, but you've got to have a little bit of a clue before the snap of what you're looking for, where the blitz can hurt you from.
Blitz came fast for that one. Rice. So secure with the ball. It's the #1 directive to any running back is ball security.
Exactly right. Another one right there, Don, 2 plays in a row. Eric Wright blitzing off the corner. Maybe they're taking him out of pass coverage because Anquan Bolden's been kind of eating him up pretty good so far. Here comes, looks like they're going to be coming with pressure here.
They're coming with a lot of pressure. Flacco does well to get the ball off to Derek Mason. Sheldon Brown on the tackle. Well, they really dialed up a blitz there,
They
Rob
did.
Ryan.
That's the same play they got victimized by in week 1. Joe Hayden, the young cornerback, in that very same situation, almost the same part of the field. Tampa Bay picked up the blitz. They were able to hit the touchdown over the top right there. Cleveland didn't give Joe Flacco a chance to throw the ball in the field.
Now Billy Cundiff, who played 5 games with the Browns last season, ready to try a 51-yarder. And he can hit it. No good. So the drive of the Ravens stalls. A long field goal try is wide. And the Browns take over the ball when we come back down by 4. We're back to Baltimore. Browns with the ball, down by 4. First and 10. Yeah, they're targeting Hillis now, Steve. They got guys reading 40 as soon as the ball snapped.
They better. They better. Look what happened now the first 4 possessions for the Cleveland Browns. You look at this, you see punt, you know, field goal, touchdown, not great, but this is what I'm talking about right here. No 3 and outs. The fewest plays in their first 4 drives were 6 plays in a drive. That does not happen. People don't sustain drives against this Ravens defense. Cleveland doing a great job today.
Browns are playing their best offensive game. They've been sound defensively all season. Kick out goes to Joshua Cribbs, near side, out to the 48-yard line. 2 yards short of a first down.
But this is the way you play the Baltimore Ravens. If you want to have success against them, you picked up 2-3 yards on first down. Everybody says that's nothing. Then you pick up 3 yards, 4 yards on second down. That's no big deal. Well, look at it. You're now in a 3rd and 2.5, 3-yard situation, which really is a million times better opportunity to succeed against this defense than 3rd and 7+.
What's the call?
You can run or pass here. That's what's the beauty of the 3rd and short.
Now I wonder what you do.
Seneca Wallace, quarterback draw.
Seneca Wallace, long ball, and a penalty marker thrown. He was bumped more than 5 yards downfield. And the call is against the
Illegal
Ravens.
contact. Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Chris Carr called for an illegal contact.
I think it was on number 21, Ladarius Webb, that
Webb.
came up and made that contact with Josh Cribbs. I'll tell you what, though, John Harbaugh's not going to be upset about that. He'd rather give up 5 yards than a first down than an easy 6 for the touchdown. Joshua Cribbs had him set up for the big play. Seneca Wallace saw the blitz, knew he had one-on-one on the outside. Not a bad play by Ladarius Webb.
But it is a first down for the Browns, down by 4. Wallace checks down, goes to the big back, Lawrence Vickers, who's hit hard by safety DeJuan Landry, 26.
We had a chance to talk to Lawrence Vickers yesterday, and you could just see the excitement and the enthusiasm in his eyes. He loves the challenge and loves the big stage that goes along with playing against Ray Lewis. You know, as the lead blocker, as a fullback, a true fullback, he's met Ray Lewis up tight many, many times, knows him better than most, and he really enjoys the opportunity to challenge himself.
And they go right behind him on a fullback lead. Hayden Hillis carries and gets to the 43-yard line. Here come markers in. Little loss of decorum out there.
Yeah, this is a division game. These teams know each other well, and I'll tell you, Cleveland should be playing with a chip on their shoulder based on what's happened the last couple times they played each other.
Last year, the Ravens dominated the
Back
Browns
to the play.
twice.
Unnecessary roughness. Offense, number 82. 15-yard penalty. Downtown.
And
3rd down.
You don't expect that from Ben Watson, a 7-year veteran.
But see, you look at Eric Mangini, this is one of the things that will absolutely kill a team.
A second guy.
There you go. Benjamin Watson retaliated on Haloti Ngata, who's, by the way, about twice of Benjamin Watson's size. But Benjamin Watson, they always get the second guy, the guy that retaliates. And right there, huge penalty. Now, we go from third and difficult at 9 yards to third and almost impossible at about 24 yards. Third and 24.
And that, Steve, is a classic example of getting the second guy.
Yep. It's all about poise, Don. You can't have those dumb penalties.
They go to Hillis on a draw play on third and long yardage, and well short of where they had to go for the first down. He did get 9 before Donnell Ellerby got him down.
And that's an important 9, Don. You know, you look at the little things that go on in a football game behind the scenes. Eric Mangini and his philosophy, Brian Dable's philosophy right there, the offensive coordinator. Let's get 9 yards back, really try and pin Baltimore deep in their own territory.
Bukowski back for the Ravens. Hodges punts and booms it. But it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So the Ravens continue to lead by 4, and they'll start from their 20 when we come back to Baltimore. In the third quarter, look at the time of possession. Coach Cowher on the pregame show on CBS talked about the Ravens having the best defense in the NFL. Well, the Browns have a pretty dominant time of possession advantage working against that defense. Rice, so quick, looking for a gap, and he darts through it. Tonight, the CEO of one of the largest hotel chains in America goes undercover on the season premiere of Undercover Boss. That's tonight, only CBS. Second down. Ravens need 6. It's hard to come by for Ray Rice. Got a couple. That'll be third and about 2, a little over 2. Lead tackler was Chris Gokong.
Good solid run by Ray Rice. 2 good runs in a row by Baltimore. And you talk about the stats and how the time of possession, what it means, and as you can see right there, straight at the Cleveland defense. But the only stat that really matters, right up here. Look at that, 14-10. Baltimore's still in control of the game, even though Cleveland's got the time of possession.
Flacco having a phenomenal day, completing well over 80% of his throws. Look at that throw, a tremendous breakup. Coming from off the edge to break it up was Joe Hayden, the #1 draft choice of the Browns, who was a great high school athlete in Maryland, out of Fort Washington, Maryland. Set a state record as a quarterback with 7,300 yards passing, 80 touchdowns, and he was an all-state point guard on 2 state championship basketball teams at Friendly High School.
He was the 7th pick in the draft last year, and for a reason, making plays like that. They're very excited about he and T.J. Ward, this young Cleveland secondary. As the punt goes to Joshua Cribbs.
And a tremendous open field play by Kerry Williams. 42-yard punt, and they stop Joshua Cribbs in his tracks. That's rare.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. And by Fidelity Investments. Turn here.
On what is now a bright, sunshiny day here in Baltimore. The Browns have the ball, trailing by 4. That was the score at the half, 14-10. Seneca Wallace, a very consistent quarterback, has hit 16 of 18, not a lot of yardage, 133. And a lot of his throws have come after he bought extra time with his feet against a rush. They talked about Hillis, Steve Berline, in the locker room at halftime.
I'm sure they did. And I'm sure the talking was being done by Ray Lewis, saying we are not going to let this guy run crazy on us in the second half. Look at that QB comparison. That's hard to believe that there could be 2 quarterbacks throwing that well. Good day for Anquan Boldin so far.
Second and 8. Standing in. A bit high. He had an open target on the comeback route. Fabian Washington hovering on the play. Massaqua's been quiet today, though.
He has been, and if this is the first ball, I truly believe that Seneca Wallace really kind of forced in. You see Peyton Hillis standing at the top. He was wide open. The coverage had dropped underneath Muhammad Massaquoi. They were giving Seneca Wallace the short little swing pass to Peyton Hillis. He's been very patient making those decisions today. He missed one there.
Third down. Browns need 8. And Wallace, with the play clock winding down,
Timeout.
takes a
Cleveland.
timeout.
This is their first charge time.
So we'll be coming back to Baltimore after this word. Don Quickie with Steve Berline back at Baltimore. Big down coming up now. 3rd and 8 for the Browns. Raven fans rise as one. Really kick up the decibel level, as it looks like Seneca Wallace might have been changing the play if he can. This is loud. They go to Hillis, and the Ravens are up to it. So they try to get the Ravens coming at an all-out rush. But Donnell Ellerby, who's played a good game at inside linebacker, is there to make the stop. 59.
Yeah, those 3rd and long situations, I think I agree with the call at this point in the ball game. The worst thing you can do, trailing by 4 points, is give the Baltimore Ravens a short field by trying to force the ball in there. Punt it. Your defense is playing better here this second half. See if you get the ball back in a new set of downs.
Hodges, he can put a charge into it. Mikowski will run it back from his 15. Mikowski is out to the 31-yard line. 16, almost 17-yard return off a 50-yard punt. Watch Fantasy Football today to get the last-minute news and analysis you need to set up your Fantasy League lineup. It's live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, only on CBSSports.com. Erline, an accomplished fantasy football man. How's your team doing?
I deal in reality most of the time, Don, but I have come to really appreciate fantasy football. My team is undefeated so far this year.
You'd expect nothing less. Here is Rice cutting back, getting to the 36-yard line. Robert Smith, a longtime defensive end, makes the stop for the Browns. 98, 11th year from Michigan State.
At this point in the ball game, Don, this is a very big drive for both teams. Cleveland would love to stop them on a 3-and-out, give their offensive ball back with decent field position. But Baltimore knows if they take it down, chew up some clock, get some points on the board, Cleveland's job just became a lot more difficult.
Flacco stands in on that route, but he comes in a little short. Whoops, that could be Eric Mason unhappy, and he's going to get flagged for it. Threw the ball in the air and is disgusted. He was open, but the ball came in short.
And that's just frustration from Derek Mason. Delay of game is going to be the call.
Delay of game. Number 85 offense. After the play, the down counts. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And you're going to see a veteran of Derek Mason's stature should not do this. Just throw the ball up in the air. You know, what does it seem like? Not very much, but you never know how those referees are going to interpret things.
You don't expect that from a 14-year veteran, Derek Mason. I think part of the frustration, Steve, the fact that he has a history of big games against the Browns.
Exactly.
Only 3 catches for 15 yards a day for Mason. Terrific throw. Got a live ball and threw the incomplete pass. Fujita strips the ball from Ray Rice coming over on a crossing pattern.
Great play by Scott Fujita. Watch, when you talk to Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, about Fujita, he said it's his skill, his intelligence, tremendous athletic ability that makes him great. Fujita has been a lot of positive influence on this defense, as we saw one almost muffed.
There's Cribbs from the 14. And another terrific open field tackle. Fabian Washington comes down, and also on the play was Marcus Smith.
Ineligible downfield early on the kick. Number 54, kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Rule repeat, 4th down.
And that Don, it happens a lot. The punter dropped the ball. And fortunately for Baltimore, Cleveland was not in a punt rush situation. They were playing for the return. So you're going to see the ball is dropped by the punter. Not a bad snap at all. It was a good snap. But that allowed those linemen up front on the punt team, they have a clock in their head. They know how long it takes for that ball to be punted. They can't leave until that ball is in the air. The timing was just completely messed up.
John Harbaugh looking on from the sideline. He was kind of a surprise choice when he was picked by Steve Bisciotti, owner of the Ravens, to get the job. He'd never been a coordinator in the NFL. He was a D-back coach with the Eagles.
That was a heck of a punt on that last one. This is going to be a huge difference.
John Harbaugh here is a directional punt near side. Oh, that's good work. Man, wow. Out of bounds inside the 15. The Titans and the Giants are at it today, and James Brown has the story.
Hey, Don, the Titans getting a slight bit of breathing room against the Giants when Vince Young on a 3rd and 7 play hooks up 13-yard strike at the back of the end zone to Kenny Britt of Rutgers. 19-10. Tennessee on top of the Giants late in the 3rd. Don and Steve.
Thank you, JB. Browns now with the ball starting at their 14-yard line. Talking about Harbaugh being picked as the coach of the Ravens, Steve Bisciotti is a great believer in leadership. He said, proponent of the book on becoming a leader. And one of the mandates in there is leadership's like beauty. Hard to define, but you know it when you see it. And that's what he saw in Harbaugh. Here is a long ball up in the air at the 5-yard line. Lodi Not almost got a hand on it. Take it in, and we saw him Friday catch a one-handed pass in the end zone. And a kind of a trick play they ran.
You could not have knocked that ball up in the air, and I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the fact that Jarrett Johnson, number 95, was closing to make the tackle, if he would have been looking for the ball, that could easily have been intercepted and a touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens.
2nd and 10. Hillis finds his way, unlocks the defense. Look at Hillis go to work. This guy's good television. He's been quiet this half stage.
And a personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Tom Zibikowski frustrated. This Ravens defense is not used to people running like this. Peyton Hillis before that carry had more yards than the Browns ever have against
Unnecessary
the Ravens.
roughness. Number 28, defense. Late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Zibikowski called for the penalty. A 46-yard run by Hillis.
So prior to this 46-yard run, Peyton Hillis already had the record for the Cleveland Browns against the Ravens, and then Tom Zibikowski, not too excited about that, throws him out of bounds. Another 15 yards, so a 61-yard play. Peyton Hillis 140 yards today.
We've got a long way to go. 1:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. And no scoring in the 2nd half. Terrific defense there as James Davis comes in. Well, Hillis catches his breath. And he's struck hard by Dewan Landry. A tough safety.
I'll tell you what, it really is coming to fruition what Eric Mangini said to us about the best way, the only way to really attack this Baltimore Ravens defense. You can't try and run around them. They're too fast, too athletic. You got to run right at him, and they've got the right type of running back in Peyton Hillis. Here we are in the Wildcat. This is Joshua Cribbs back here in the gun.
The flash package. Behind blockers, look at Cribbs turn the corner. Inside the 5-yard line, Zibikowski gets him out of bounds, but it's 1st and goal Browns. 19-yard run.
Don, last week we saw the Cleveland Browns playing the Kansas City Chiefs. We were expecting to see a lot of Wildcat. We didn't see any of it. And this is the package with Joshua Cribbs at the quarterback position. They call it the flash package because he went to the Kent Golden Flashes. That's where he played his football in college.
Indeed.
They call it cyclone when Seneca Wallace is at quarterback, but a big play for the Cleveland Browns.
Now come the tough yards. Ravens dig in. Gillis, both arms on the ball. He's not coughing it up. Ray Lewis hits him head on along with Suggs.
That's the end of the third quarter.
14-10 Baltimore. We'll return to Baltimore after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back and ready to start the fourth quarter. Joe Flacco has a career passer rating against the Browns of 96. But right now he's got to wait his turn. As
65 before
I'll tell you what, Don, if Eric Steinbach back in, eligible, but if there is a blueprint the Cleveland Browns had for playing the Baltimore Ravens, it is this right here. Control the ball, run right at him, hang around, be in the ball game in the fourth quarter. Now they've got a chance to take the lead. This is absolute perfection for them.
Let's guess. Fullback lead with Vickers blocking. There it is. No, they play fake to it. Beautifully done by Seneca Wallace, and he lost it out to Ben Watson.
They got you on that one.
They got me, and they got the Ravens defense.
And I'll tell you what, Seneca Wallace almost got a little bit too casual with that throw. He really floated it out there to Benjamin Watson. But a good play action fake. Baltimore really playing hard run. Good call, great timing for it. And then Seneca Wallace laying it out there on the outside. What a great drive for the Cleveland Browns.
They're playing a great football most of this game, the Browns, against a really tough Raven team. Here's the extra point up and good. Big thing is ball security, no turnovers. The Ravens had intercepted the Browns 18 times in the last 11 games. A short touchdown throw to Ben Watson. 6 seconds into the fourth quarter. Gives the Browns a lead for the second time today.
You see the Baltimore Ravens huddled up, defensively talking about what they can do to slow down this suddenly powerful Cleveland offense.
Well, you think, Steve, that the Browns last year scored 3 points in 2 games against the Ravens. They're 17 today. Here's the kickoff. Harmony. Make a roster making tackles like that on special teams. T.J. Ward was down to lead the way.
There's a flag way back at the kickoff point, Don.
Yes, there is.
Might have been offsides.
Offside, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
I'll tell you, that was T.J. Ward that made the hit on that one. He's lucky he didn't get a 15-yard penalty for kicking the helmet of Parmalee. You can see right there, that's the offsides. Can't quite tell what number that is, but just a fraction ahead of the ball. That's a bad break for Cleveland. They had him stopped inside the 15-yard line.
They did.
The statistics in the NFL show that if you can make your opponent start their drive inside the 30-yard line, obviously their job is much more difficult, and it goes incrementally from that point forward. If you get them stopped inside the 20, very difficult. Look at this ball control differential here, though. 8 minutes, 10 seconds more for Cleveland over Baltimore. 13 more plays. Eric Mangini's got to be incredibly satisfied for that.
And also significant, Steve, is on a second kickoff. The odds go up incrementally. That the return's going to be a lot longer because those big guys running down full speed have to do it again now.
They're winded, and the ball's being kicked from 5 yards further back.
Kickoff by Dawson from the 25. Boy, he hit that good. Down to the 6. Amelie takes it all the way out across the 30. Tomorrow on TV's #1 comedy, is Charlie's Brothers finally moving out? Find out on a new episode of 2.5 Men tomorrow, only CBS. That penalty cost the Browns 17 yards.
It did. 17-yard, 15-yard line on the first one, 30, 32 right now, 31-yard line.
Not much. Flacco was extraordinary in the first half, and you got to think he's going to be looking at Anquan Bolden pretty soon because they were unstoppable.
Well, if I'm Rob Ryan, I'm finding a way to try and protect Eric Wright one-on-one with Anquan Bolden on the outside. You're going to see the matchup at the bottom of your screen right here. That's the matchup we're talking about.
On 2nd and 7. Flacco looking for somebody to check this dude. Lost the ball out of bounds as he's hit hard from behind.
Very hard. That was Scott Fujita making the hit. But I'll tell you what, we talked about how they're going to try and protect.
Quarterback was hit when he was releasing the ball. No intentional grounding.
Yep, the ball squirted out of Joe Flacco's hands. He had no idea he was about to get hit. That's a big hit by Fujita. But Eric Wright that time was over Anquan Bolden, but not left one-on-one. They rolled a safety over the top. Rob Ryan learned his lesson. It's not a good matchup for Eric Wright.
And the Browns defending him better, Steve. He started Flacco 15 of 18 throwing, but now 0 for his last 4. What a snag by Bolden.
Remember, Don, when I told you what open is in the NFL? That's the example that John Harbaugh wants to see from Joe Flacco. Right there, you look at the coverage. It was absolutely fantastic coverage by the Cleveland Browns, but you got a big-body receiver. You got to stick it on him if there's a spot to stick it on him. And right there, he's taller than Eric Wright again. Victimized that one-on-one matchup again. He's bigger, stronger, more physical, and Eric Wright is having a very difficult time stopping him. You got to give him a chance to make a play.
Well, he's been making plays. Bolden came in with 12 catches in the first 2 games, none for touchdown. Today, Bolden has caught 7.
Center, 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Bolden 7 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And let's look at what he's done exactly today. We're going to see him all right here. Early, started off with a couple of short passes, and then the great throw by Joe Flacco on the first touchdown pass. And back at the other end of the field, one-on-one with Eric Wright with a blitz coming up the middle. Joe Flacco making him pay. His footwork, his urgency, very, very good today.
Flacco stands in and throws up beauty on a comeback route. John Harbaugh talking about that 9-stop route. Run a fly and then come back at the ball in a timing pattern.
And this is a great example. Look at the decisiveness with Joe Flacco, the urgency. He's exploding away from the center, which John Harbaugh said he was not doing prior to this game. He'd gotten away from kind of the fundamentals. Right there, back and set up quick, feet perfect, ball out on time, right on the money. A lot of confidence and a lot of work winning that this week, I'm sure.
Some good yards, a 15-yard pickup on the play, first down Ravens. Rice making people miss. This Ward, what a draft pick he was, a 2nd rounder from Oregon. #1 tackler on the team.
Watch the footwork of Ray Rice right here. Play going front side to the right. Oop, little 2-step, little like in basketball, the old 2-footed stop and the jump stop, and then you change direction. I tell you, he's a hard guy to wrap up on. If you miss, if you take a bad angle, he's going to make you pay.
Catch him if you can. It's not easy. It's a lot of. Here's now a whistling flag. Oh, they're going to start her up big time. This is now escalating to full-scale fisticuffs.
Oh, punches thrown. That was Jonathan Orr, or Michael Orr. Threw a punch. Better just hope he stays in the game here.
Michael Orr, a very, very good left tackle for the Ravens.
Is that Robert Smith that was in the middle of it for the Browns?
Maybe a few guys were in the middle of it.
Well, Robert Smith is the one that initially got into it with Todd Heap. When Todd Heap jumped, Robert Smith went after him. I thought a penalty should have been thrown there on Robert Smith. And then it just escalated. He completely lost his poise. If there is someone at fault, it's him. And then, of course, Michael Orr throwing the punch. Didn't hit anybody, but you can't do that in the NFL.
Well, we're now getting officials sorting this out as to who the guilty party or parties are.
There are 2 fouls against the offense.
Two.
False start, number 84. Also unnecessary roughness, number 74. 15-yard penalty.
They called Michael Orr. He's the one that threw the punch. I'll tell you, Robert Smith, very, very lucky. Let's watch what happened. You're going to see right here's Robert Smith. Watch what he does to Todd Heap right here. He just keeps driving him back right there. And then there's a little hit from Orr. Now you got a big fisticuffs going. And then here's the punch from Michael Orr. Not much, but it was an open-handed blow to the head of Robert Smith. I thought, if anything, Don, it should have been offsetting penalties.
I agree with that. Robert was the initiator, but the Browns are the beneficiary as the Ravens now set back.
This is where Joe Flacco has to be cool, though. Just try to get about half of it back.
2nd and 23. He checks down, goes to Heap, and he's to the Browns' 47.
Now, this is not a first-time thing, the bad blood between these two teams, Don.
Brady Quinn delivering a cut block on Terrell Suggs. And Suggs missed 3 games with a knee injury. And the Ravens' Dwan Edwards hit Josh Cribbs in the last play of that game. Cribbs was taken off the field on a stretcher, but did not miss any game time, fortunately. And there's a history between these teams. Browns came to Baltimore, became the Ravens. Here is a throw downfield of a 33-yard line.
Todd Heap and Don, that's another example of what we're talking about. I thought that was pretty good coverage on Todd Heap, but Joe Flacco is coming out and saying, my best read, the defense is taking me to Todd Heap. He's got body position. I've got to give him a chance to make the play. And that was a great example of it right there.
And you talked, Steve, about getting it back in pieces, great yardage, and they did it just that way. 13-yard gain on that pass for the first down.
I've been very, very impressed with every decision Joe Flacco's made today for the most part.
Terrific. Ball play. Browns stop it. Ray Rice, not much room to work. The quarterback comparison, impressive indeed. Flacco at 125 rating. Seneca Wallace 109 rating for the Browns.
Both of these guys showed up to play today. They obviously worked very hard in their week of preparation. Seneca Wallace was much more comfortable and much more of a factor this week for Cleveland.
Flacco's hit his last 4 throws. Now his last 5. Rice down to the 26-yard line where Ataba Rubin gets him down. The one thing we haven't seen, Steve, is a turnover, and that could happen either way.
It can happen either time. One of the other knocks on Flacco is that sometimes he gets a little bit impatient when a team plays a softer coverage, that softer too deep, Tampa too deep, everybody talks about, where the defense is basically forcing you to take the underneath route. That was a good example on that last play of it. Flacco very patient, reset his feet, took the check down.
And now with a 3rd and 5 coming up, his team down by 3. Flacco wants to get some sideline counsel and calls timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. FedEx, we understand. You need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We're back to Baltimore. Ray Rice coming off the field and being attended to now.
Watch this matchup right here. This is the rookie Joe Hayden on T.J. Hushmanzada. Good matchup on the 3rd and 5 situation here.
All-out blitz. They dialed it up. Long ball. Receivers out there. Anquan Bolden. Touchdown. Baltimore. You talk about a thing of beauty. They sent everybody, and Flacco stood into the last possible second and released a perfect throw. His third touchdown today to Anquan Bolden.
You know, sometimes, Don, a defensive coordinator's reputation gets him in a little bit of trouble. Rob Ryan going with the all-out blitz. You see how it's all picked up across the board. They came with 8 guys rushing. Everybody's in one-on-one coverage. Same situation they got victimized by in week 1 against Tampa Bay. That was Eric Wright again, matched up on Anquan Bolden.
Bolden now has caught 8 today for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Ravens take back the lead. We have Steve Berline. This is Don Criqui back at Baltimore, where Joe Flacco engineers a 10-play drive, again hitting Anquan Bolden. Third touchdown catch of this day by Bolden, and the Ravens take back the lead. And a booming kickoff, and Joshua Cribbs has to down it. Coming next, Peyton and the Colts battle Kyle Orton and the Broncos, or the Chargers challenge the Seahawks, while the Raiders meet with the Cardinals. Check local listings. Steve, you were talking about how talk radio was excoriating Flacco this week. We're going to be talking about him again tomorrow. A different,
little different tone, a little different context to it. And Anquan Bolden, you saw the stat there, career high 3 touchdowns, also went over 600 receptions today. He came into the game with 598, now has 606 receptions for his career. Fastest ever for 600 receptions.
whoa, live ball. And Wallace has to fall on it back inside the 5-yard line.
Now that, I don't know who to blame on that one, because Seneca Wallace clearly thought it was a toss play to Peyton Hillis, and Peyton Hillis is running a counter play. It looks like Peyton Hillis was right. You could see the way the offensive linemen were all pulling to get out in front. It was a counter action that should have been played. Those are usually not tosses, and Peyton Hillis was not ready for a toss.
A loss of 17 yards.
And this is where it can get really, really ugly. 2nd and 20 plus, backed up in your own end zone against a good defense.
Hey, he just got over the white line, almost a safety. Ray Lewis had him at head-on Hillis.
Yep, trying to get it out of the end. That was actually the first hit. The first hit was the one and only Kelly Gregg on the inside, breaking through, causing some penetration, and then Ray Lewis coming in and finishing it up.
Harbaugh said on Friday there's not a blocking scheme in this league that can stop Kelly Gregg. He got the first hit.
That is high praise.
Browns backed up deep in their own end.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. And by Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong. Subway, where winners eat.
The Ravens have taken back the lead here in the 4th quarter, and now they have the Browns pinned back. 3rd down and 28. At the 2-yard line of Cleveland. Well, you talk about defensive linemen loving this. Look at Hillis. He's 8 yards deep in the end zone. Wallace is going to throw. Home run ball. Incomplete.
Now that's one, Don, where in the back of my mind I'm thinking this would be a great time to take a shot, because worst case scenario it works out like a long punt, but you could get a pass interference, you could get a big play. Obviously Seneca Wallace under pressure from Terrell Suggs throws the ball out of bounds. Doesn't even give Josh Cribbs a chance. I think he was uncomfortable just putting it up out of his end zone.
Suggs, a 3-time Pro Bowl player for the Ravens. Short snap on this punt. Might go for the block. close to the Ravens. Zibikowski crosses midfield and gets to the 47-yard line. 48-yard punt, an 8-yard return. Bubba Ventrone was on the stop.
All right, the mentality now for Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens is we take it down right now and score a touchdown. That drives a nail in the coffin right there.
You talked to Steve about dialing up that all-out blitz, living up to his reputation.
Yep.
Flacco said, bring it on.
And I'll tell you, it truly looked like Baltimore was in the Cleveland huddle on that last play. They knew exactly what Rob Ryan was going to do on that play, and they forced him.
McGahee with some power football.
Right behind Michael Orr, Ben Grubbs on that left side. You'll see great job, just man on man, body on body. You see the seam right through there. Great job by Michael Orr, the left tackle, clearing out Scott Fujita.
No Kong in there.
Yep, a little bit late. That was about an 8-9 yard pickup.
9 yard it was. So now the Ravens, holding to this lead, go to power football to run the clock. Browns need to get it back, and they need a touchdown. Need the Browns.
Tell you, with the exception of Eric Wright, the corner for Cleveland, who's been responsible for stopping Anquan Bolden all 3 times, this Cleveland defense has not played too poorly. The problem is one guy busts, and it's a touchdown against the right offense.
There goes the guy can bust it. Bolden out to the 11. They go to the run again to McGahee, 235-pound back who scored 14 touchdowns last season for the Ravens.
You know what confuses me a little bit too, Don, though, when you're talking about, and there's Cam Cameron doing a great job of anticipation, and Rob Ryan, a lot of respect for him as an offensive coordinator. He says it's very difficult to play a Cam Cameron offense. But one thing I think Rob Ryan could have done prior to this was Eric Wright obviously is not a good matchup on Anquan Bolden. I think you give your rookie Joe Hayden a chance to see if he can step up to the opportunity.
That's a good point. They have really victimized Wright. Flacco, end zone throw, Bolden, broken up.
Oh,
I think that's clean.
the fans were,
T.J. Ward comes over to break it up. Almost 4 TD catches for Bolden.
fans were looking for that pass interference. T.J. Ward was there a little bit early, but he was playing for the ball. He's looking for it. He's going up for the football. You can see that. There was a chance. Maybe if Flacco put a little bit more zip, got the ball on Anquan Bolden a little bit earlier, that could have been a different outcome. But right there, a good break on the ball by T.J. Ward. I think it was a pretty solid defensive play.
Yeah, they hit that play. That would have been the knockout punch.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it.
Whistle stops play.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And what do you think Rob Ryan was going to do on that play again? He had a whole slew of Cleveland Browns coming right up the middle again. They were coming right up the gut one more time to see if they could get to Joe Flacco. Look at the numbers, the difference last week and this week. Obviously, the big number is the 4 interceptions. Joe Flacco getting the opportunity to make plays today and stepping up to the challenge.
They're down, meaning about 12.
And that was the attempt at that stop 9 you were talking about, Don, right there. John Harbaugh telling us that Joe Flacco, really good confidence with Derek Mason throwing that route. A little bit high on that one.
If this kick by Cundiff is no good, it'll be a 49-yarder. Browns will take over at their 31. Cundiff with the Browns, 5 games last year, hits it. And connects. He's very grateful to the Cleveland Browns. People say, angry they cut you. He said, no, it wasn't working. They picked me up and put me back in the league. And he's worked out very nicely here at Baltimore as he builds the Ravens lead to 7.
Well, the buzz around the NFL today. What are people going to be talking about? The Chiefs. Look at this. Can they go 3-0? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
They're up on San Francisco 24-3. They must be for real. And then the Cowboys looking to burst the bubble. The Houston Texans have been riding the last couple of weeks, up 24-6. Cowboys looking to avoid that 0-3 start. And then Charlie Batch, it seems as though doesn't matter who you plug in at quarterback for Pittsburgh, they're going to find a way to get it done. They're up 38-6 on Tampa Bay and ready to go 3-0.
The Houston Texans, they had beaten NFC teams 10 of the last 13 times they played them. Right now, the Ravens with a 7-point lead on their home field. Ready to kick it off after the field goal by Cundiff, a 49-yarder. Put a charge into that. Nothing on back. That's one way to neutralize Joshua Cribbs. Take it 10 yards deep. Every Wednesday, join JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp on cable's longest-running show, the multi-award-winning Inside the NFL, Wednesday on Showtime.
All right, so here we see Seneca Wallace. What's the mentality? Look at this. We got 5 minutes and 29 seconds in the game. Plenty of time. No panic here whatsoever. Cleveland still has one timeout, but you got to have some urgency here. You got to think you may not get the ball back. You got to try and find a way to move this ball down the field, get it in the end zone.
How do you stop Peyton Hillis? You hit him with your whole defense.
You bring the whole enchilada along with you. And that was the whole enchilada known as the Baltimore Ravens defense. They were all sitting there waiting for him. I like the call coming out and running on first down because you're not willing to concede the fact that you have to throw it in this situation. So Baltimore just beat him to the punch there on that play.
The Browns need 9. They check down. They get it to Hillis. And a good open field tackle on the play by Jameel McClain. 53.
Good.
Undrafted free agent out of Syracuse.
Good patience by Seneca Wallace there. Not panicking. He looks comfortable. They played that Tampa Bay 2 defense called Tampa 2. Ray Lewis flying down the middle of the field. The only option is to be patient underneath. Seneca Wallace did that. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 2 situation.
Huge down now for the Browns and the Ravens defense. They go for it all. They got a punch.
You know, Don, one of the big question marks I have about Seneca Wallace, and it showed up last week in that game against Kansas City. A lot of his deep balls go out of bounds. And that is not good. You got to give your playmakers a chance to make the play. This seems to be the result a lot of times when he tries to go up the field. That ball, it's not just barely out of bounds. It's 3 or 4 yards outside the field of play.
Timeout. More. This is their second charge timeout.
He had no chance to make a play on
30-second
that.
timeout.
Baltimore takes the timeout. You're 100% right. I mean, you've got to give your playmakers a chance to make the play. We've seen 3 or 4 of them today at least where the ball has been thrown out of bounds on the deep route.
Seneca played soundly last week except for that one throw against the Chiefs at Cleveland Browns Stadium that they picked and ran back.
And he's played very well today. I'm not critiquing his play in general. I think he's played very well today. He's given the Browns a chance to win this ball game. 18 for 24, 140 yards and a touchdown. You'd like to see a few more big plays in there, but he's made a lot of good plays
Chris Carr has dropped back to return the punt. From the 21. These special teamers are just terrific. Open field tackle by Mike Adams. From nearby Delaware Blue Hen in his day.
What's Joe Flacco smiling about? Well, he's smiling about 3 touchdowns to his newest weapon. Not his newest weapon, one of his new weapons, Anquan Bolden, who was completely victimized Derek Wright all day today, left on an island. And look at that great anticipation and awareness of the situation. Full all-out blitz by the Cleveland Browns. They had the right play dialed in. Give your receiver a chance to run through it and make the play. Spectacular job by the Ravens in execution.
Browns coach Eric Mangini talking about #1 key, no big plays. With Flacco and Bolden made him. McGahee again, a possession runner. He's not going to break it, but he's going to power his way ahead and run the clock.
Well, what the important thing is for Cleveland right now, Don, they've got to try and get a 3 and out, because with only 1 timeout left, 3.5 minutes in the game, you're really looking at the possibility of not getting that ball back. The only stoppage along with the 1 timeout would be a 2-minute warning, but a 3 and out here would be a very, very good occurrence for this Cleveland Browns defense.
McGahee again. Major collision, little yardage, but they keep the clock moving with a 7-point lead.
Now let's look at the AFC North standings there, Don. Pittsburgh looking like they're well on their way to 3-0. Baltimore can stay within a game with the win here. Cleveland, boy, you sure don't want to start the season off 0-3. Not a good thing. Cincinnati up on Carolina as well right now, so they're gonna keep pace with Baltimore. It looks like if Baltimore can hang on and win this ball game.
Next week, the Ravens play at Pittsburgh.
They got a chance to even it all up.
3rd down, Flacco very mobile, throwing on the run. What a beautiful play. Push Manzada, fingertip grab. He's got a 1st down out to the 31-yard line on 3rd down and a long 3. And the Ravens with the lead. They have 4 new downs.
Well, that's T.J. Hushmanzada's first reception of the day, and a big one. A very big one. He's only been here with the Ravens for a few weeks. He himself
Number
also
64 reporting eligible. 64.
also coming up on 600 career receptions. 587 total. 6 players have caught a pass today for the Ravens. But a big 3rd down conversion right there.
And he spread the ball around, Flacco. McGahee, number assignment now. Don't lose the ball.
Now, we talked in the open, Don, as we approach the 2-minute warning about the necessity of trying to spread the ball around for Joe Flacco, not getting locked in. Well, he's spread it around, done a great job today.
This is a 2-minute warning.
We're down to 2 minutes to play at Baltimore. Two minutes to go at Baltimore. Ravens in a back-and-forth game have the lead, and they have the ball. 2nd down coming up.
Well, we were showing earlier in the game how Cleveland definitely was dominating the time of possession, ball control. But boy, it's been switched in this quarter. Over 2-1 in favor of Baltimore.
We welcome those of you who've been watching the Steelers and the Buccaneers. Big game by Pittsburgh. Here in Baltimore, a back-and-forth game. The Ravens now hold the lead by 7. Down to 1:55 to play. Browns have led a couple of times in this game. Joe Flacco has been sensational at quarterback. In combination with Anquan Bolden, they've been unstoppable. Bolden with 3 touchdown catches today from Flacco.
It's been a thing of beauty for this Baltimore offense to have Joe Flacco come out and play at the level that he's played today. He's been solid from the get-go, and he and Anquan Bolden hooking up for 3 big touchdown passes. If they can finish out this ball game, it sets up the big showdown next week in Pittsburgh with the Steelers trying to even records at 3-1.
Third down.
Here comes Cleveland on a big blitz again.
Left early, it looked like. Officials are pointing. They're calling for a flinch. Matt Roth might have stepped in there. Last year, the Ravens dominated the Browns twice, outscored them 50-3 in winning the 2 games. Today, the Browns a much different team, getting very good running from
Neutral zone
Hillis.
infraction defense. Number 53,
Was
5-yard penalty,
Matt Roth.
first down.
Expensive penalty. The Browns, if they made a stop there, would get the ball back. Now the Ravens have a first down.
And again, it's timing. You see Matt Roth there on the left side, jumped across. Marshall Yanda reacting to him, but there it is, very clearly Matt Roth's deal. And again, the timing of the penalties for Eric Mangini. As you said, Don, that was a key third down play. He's still got a chance if you stop him there and get the ball back. Now Joe Flacco's going to take a knee, and this ball game is done.
Yes, it is. Ravens next will be heading to Pittsburgh. A showdown with the Steelers.
And it doesn't get any better for Cleveland Browns. They've got Cincinnati at home next week, followed by Atlanta, Pittsburgh away, New Orleans away, New England, New York Jets. This is a team that very easily could be 0-8 at the midpoint of the season.
And Hillis, who you just saw, Peyton Hillis, 180 total yards today for the Browns, 144 rushing. He was unstoppable in the first half. He also has 36 receiving yards. And all that good effort for naught, as the Browns will fall to 0-3 and the Ravens to 2-1.
In defense of this Cleveland Browns team, though, Don, as you stated, they came out ready to play today.
They did.
No doubt about it. Eric Mangini had a very short-handed team. A lot of players bumped up and out. Jerome Harrison out. You can go down the list. Jake Delhomme, the quarterback, out. Starting wide receiver Brian Robisky. Joshua Cribbs bumped up, their #1 playmaker. Very, very difficult situation. They showed up ready to play today, though.
Cleveland took a 3-point lead early in the fourth quarter, but the Ravens rallied back. Superb quarterbacking by Flacco. Great receiving by Bolden. The staple that's always here with the Ravens is defense. And they beat the Browns again. Final score, 24-17. For Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui saying so long from Baltimore. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, it's the Burger King update. We'll take you to New York for all of the scores and highlights after this.